Forced to work from home by your employer? Laid off or feeling depressed at home? Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Welcome back to another episode of the Work From Home Show. All my homies, homeboys, homegirls, home trans. I'm Naresh Vissa, along with Adam Schrader, and back with us again for part 2 of his interview, Mr. Tom Antion. Tom, welcome back to the Work From Home Show.
Oh, it's so great to be back. I haven't talked to you guys for ages.
Yeah.
And yet it feels like just yesterday.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and Tom is a business consultant and public speaker who helps small businesses thrive online. He is the publisher of Great Speaking, an online magazine on public speaking with 92,000 subscribers in more than 80 countries. And he also operates the Great Internet Marketing Retreat Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He is the host of the Screw the Commute podcast. Highly, highly recommend it that our listeners check that out. Tom, before we get into some digital marketing topics, tell us, what is the Great Internet Marketing Retreat Center in Virginia Beach?
Well, I always like to throw tips in when I wasn't expecting that question, but when you want to get publicity for something, you want to do something that you can say it's the only, it's the biggest, it's the best, it's the first. So this is the only facility of its kind, and another good phrase is in the world, only facility of its kind in the world where you can actually spend an immersion weekend, actually live in this retreat center with me and watch the orders coming in and get an immersion weekend with a small group of people, 5 people or so. So, and it's basically my estate home in Virginia Beach that I specifically got to do this kind of thing. And so it's the only place in the world you can do that.
And can you tell us just for a minute about the Great Speaking, your online magazine?
Yeah, so Great Speaking started around 1994. You know, I was already a successful professional speaker at the time, and but I had been to 87 different industries. This is a good lesson in the first 5 years of my speaking career, and I'm a real stickler to customize, and I'm learning all these industries, and it's just really hard because I'm going to the Pennsylvania dry cleaning industry, so now I have to learn about dry cleaning. Then I go to the Nebraska Plumbing Association. I got to learn about plumbing. So the elders were telling me, you got a niche, you know, and I wouldn't listen. And for 5 years in 87 industries, I said, you know, I thought maybe I should listen to these guys. And so I niched into the professional speaking arena, and I brought the internet marketing to them and all this stuff. And so it just blew up. I was one of the first ones that was doing it. And so that's, and then it spun off into all kinds. I've been hundreds and hundreds of different businesses that I've helped. Bingo supplies, and I mean, whatever you can think of, I've helped somebody with it. But it started out with that as niching to a certain industry, and then things blew up. And then I'm not going to turn down somebody from another industry that wants training. So that's how it got started, by niching, and that can get you further faster for all of you out there listening.
Well, Tom, going back to your retreat center, is that an actual physical location?
Yeah, this is an enormous house. We have about 11,000 square feet here. We have a TV studio that the students use, and they actually live in this house with me. So it's my house, and they live in it. You know, a lot of people use their home to come over in the daytime and show off a little bit and maybe have a little training session, but they actually live in here for me. That's what makes it the only facility of its kind.
And how long is the actual retreat?
They come. Well, it's part of a year-long training program, but the retreat is from a Thursday afternoon to a Monday morning. And we also have other events, like we have a VIP video weekend where I come in, we shoot a bunch of videos in our studio, and then I take you out into the field and show you how to shoot a marketing video anywhere you happen to be. It makes it really interesting rather than just talking heads. So we have events here. but the retreats are from Thursday afternoon to Monday morning.
This is pretty cool. It's basically a way for people to live with a great internet marketing mind, to live with Tom and to tap your brain, to have access to you, to learn from you like almost 24/7. I've never heard of a contact. You hear about the general, 3-day conference at a 5-star resort or a hotel, but this, you're actually living the way you think, the way you act, tapping into your mind, and then also learning the nitty-gritty of online and digital marketing.
Yeah, it's an immersion weekend where you can shut the world out and see, and you see so many marketers telling you, oh, I'm this, that, and I own this car and this house and stuff, and they can barely make their car payment. So they're in here seeing this lifestyle business. They're seeing I have two $50,000 protection dogs looking at me, which is a spin-off business of mine. And they see this massive estate. And I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say lifestyles of the rich and famous, but I mean, 11,000 square feet and a couple acres and just living here and watching money come in. I mean, that's not too bad, right? So, and
most people take that life.
Yeah. And nobody at my level will even talk to you, let alone, invite you into their house and to sleep there. They might offer to sleep with you, but not invite you into their house to be here. So it's been, it's 8, let's see, what is it now? 18 years we've been doing this, 1,700 students in 18 years. And that's part of as I said, it's part of a year-long mentor program, but people make money long before a year is up. And then I structured it, and I kind of made all the gurus mad when I started this thing, because people at my level were charging 50 or 100 grand up front to teach people this stuff. And I know a lot of these guys, and if you got the money, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't even help you to start with. They'd take the money and run. So I said, I'm going to charge, I'm a consumer advocate and a small business advocate. I'm going to take an entry fee, and then I'll take a percentage of profits that's capped. So you're not stuck with me forever. And for me to get my big money, you have to make way bigger money. So people just love this and flock to this program. Like I said, 1,700 students, it's still going strong. And they also know I'm not going to disappear on them, because I won't get my big money if I poop out and don't help them. See, so it's been a beautiful concept. And now not everybody does the work. People easily see shiny objects all the time, but the ones that do and stick with the program, virtually all of them make money. And that's the whole point of this, is not just to make money and to create a lifestyle business so that you can do what you want with it, give back, take care of your family and so forth. Really
cool. So is there a website where our listeners can learn more about that?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes. It's greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com.
Greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. Awesome.
Now, I have a tip that I'm just dying to give your folks out there.
Give it.
Let's hear it.
It's actually more than just a little tip. It's a method, and it has to do with hiring. And I'm kind of known for this method of hiring what I call propeller heads and geeks, and even out of high school. So I have two methods I want to tell you, and they're really gold, because I wasn't that technical when I started this. And I had I saw this kid up in, it used to be Comp USA up in D.C., and I recruited him to work with me. And he worked with me for a while, then he went off to college, and he came back and worked with me. And he would sit, he was like a little Russian smart aleck kid, but he was just brilliant. So he would stand behind me and watch me work. And he'd say, I can't believe somebody making so much money is so stupid. Will you just click here? And he was always right. He saved me millions of keystrokes. And so you want to recruit these young people, because there's no way, especially every day that goes by, there's more stuff you got to do. And these young people came out of the womb swiping a tablet, so they make things happen really quick. By the way, that young man's name is Ilya Posen. He just sold Pluto.tv, his third startup, for $340 million. The last time he contacted me, he was on a yacht in Greece with a bunch of supermodels. And I said, next time I come to visit you, you're buying dinner, you little smuck. So
you can live on that.
Yeah. So these young people, so here's how you recruit young high school kids. You don't want college kids because there's too much drinking and partying going on. You want high school kids. So here's how you do them, and I'll show you how to recruit older kids. So you call up a local high school. Now, you don't want a fancy neighborhood. You want the blue-collar one because the fancy neighborhood, the kids have more money than you have, and they don't need you. You want a blue-collar high school. Now, you can't just stop in and say, hey, I want some kids. At least that's what the policeman told me down at the station. All right, so you go in there, you call up ahead of time, and you say, I want to talk to the counselor, or if you have a computer club, or the computer science teacher, because they know who all the little geeks are. And then you tell them, I'm looking for kids for evening, weekend, and summer work. You can't compete with the school year. And the beauty of it is if you get one of them and they can't do something, they know all their other little buddies. They're like little roaches running around. All right, they all know each other. And I got just fantastic work done for low price, and they get a resume item to put on their resume. And so my phone, like I'm known as the king of ka-ching, because when an order comes in, my email goes ka-ching. Well, I thought that'd be a great ringtone to have. And I'm thinking, I'll never figure out how to put it on a phone. It'll take me all day. I give it to one of the girls in the office. She comes back in 10 minutes and it goes ka-ching. Do I know how she did it? No. Do I care? No. Does it go ka-ching? Yes. Right. So this can really accelerate because, I some of my students, it's a half hour. I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs because they can't do something. They can't hardly turn their computer on. And I'm like, oh, you're killing me. So I make them recruit geeks to help them out because things will just go so much faster. There's only so much psychic energy in a day. I want you using it to market, not to fight with your computer. So that's how you recruit geeks, young people, high school. All right, let's jump across college and into older people. Craigslist. I'm going to give you the gazillion-dollar tip right here on how to recruit off of Craigslist. First of all, you can't really age discriminate, but I don't want the 55-year-old MBA that just got fired and has got a big house and mortgage and wants a fortune from me, and he can't even do anything that I want him to do. So, or she. So you put a Craigslist ad in that says paid internship. Paid internship. That's the title of the ad. And then inside the ad, I write things that you would get thrown out of any other, what are those places those hiring places that you hear on the radio all the time? They wouldn't accept these ads because they're really rotten. So I write an ad that says, hey, if you're a worthless slug and you don't care about your work, if I don't throw you out of here in 5 minutes, the good people that work here will. You could not get away with that anywhere. And then I tell them the good stuff. But if you are good and care about your work, I'm well known, I'm connected, I'll help you out and I'll do all kinds of things for you. Well, the people that are terrible are too afraid to show up. I've had people that came from that ad that have been working here 12 years. Okay. Some of them 6 years, 5 years, 4 years. So that's how I do on Craigslist. I don't advertise anywhere else but Craigslist with a paid internship. And it brings younger people because no older person is going to apply for an internship. And then I write really rotten stuff in there. I don't know if your listeners have the guts to do this, but I'm just telling you, it works.
So you keep saying people who work here. Do you have a physical office for other people to go to?
Well, we've had, we have in my school, I have the only, the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country. And now, I have sent them all home now because of the situation we're in with the World Health and everything. But they work there. But I have had them working here. We got lots of room here. We got a studio with offices. And so, but right now I'm by myself because of the pandemic that's hitting the world. So I have a lot of people, and I have virtual people. I have a guy up in Long Island. I have a guy, across town, and I have, individual people when I need certain things as a contractor to bring them in to do certain tasks.
Tom, you have a website, tomantionwebinars.com, tomantionwebinars.com. Tell us everything we need to know about webinars, what they are, how to put them on, why people should do webinars.
How many episodes are we doing here today? Okay, so first of all, don't do webinars if you have a younger crowd. They won't stop and watch them. So you want to still do audio, MP3, podcasts for the younger crowds. I learned that when I was learning to promote my school, because they said the consultants for schools said the kids won't watch a webinar. They'll listen to stuff. So don't do them for a really young crowd. Plus, the older crowd has more money anyway. So for older crowds, first of all, there's a whole bunch of elements that you need to put in a webinar to make it sell, if it's a free one. Now, I have ones that are paid up front, so that means good copywriting just to sell the content. But a lot of people are doing free ones and then sell stuff at the end. Well, you don't wait till the end to sell stuff. You're selling before the darn webinar even starts. Get that through your head and you'll sell a lot more on webinars. And one of the ways we do it is we make a deal up front of the webinar. So I say, hey, I'm going to give you these 5 super duper things. And if I do, I like to make a deal with you. If I give you these 5 super duper things that are going to do X, Y, and Z for you, you agree to at least listen to what I, have for sale at the end. Is that a deal? Is that fair? I'm all about fairness. And everybody says, yeah, that's fair, Tom. Yeah, okay. So right up front, there's no surprise, like they're waiting to be hit in the face with a product at the end. It's already up front. They know it. They just wonder what it is. And then the other thing is you have to figure out there's 2 different angles that you can take in a webinar. So I'll give you an example of my copywriting webinar. It's called Copywriting 901, the fast track to writing words that sell. And so the angles, there's 2 different angles I could take with this. There's approximately 31 or so different elements you could put into a piece of copy. And so I could have said, okay, I'm going to have a webinar that has all 31 elements, but just a little smidgen about each one. That would be one angle to take on that webinar. I chose to say, I'm going to take 5 really, really killer, important copywriting techniques and go deep so that you really know that technique when you get off of that webinar. But at the end, then you say, well, there's, 26 more of these that you really need to know about. So I chose that method. And one of the reasons is because I want everybody out there to build a reputation. So when I do something, I've been around so long trying to produce high quality stuff that even if people don't buy anything, they have gotten value. And so they keep coming back. They keep coming back. I have had people refer me that never spent a nickel or couldn't afford anything that I had, but they always got value. And then the people they referred spent tens of thousands of bucks. So I choose to make sure that no matter what I give you, free or paid, it's massive value. And I get a little bit lazy. I'm like the least lazy person around. I work pretty much 24/7 just because I love it so much. But sometimes I don't even write a sales letter anymore. I just send an email and say, hey, here's my new product. If people buy it, because if my name is on it, they know it's going to be good. And that's what I want your people to do. Always give massive value. Okay. So anyway, those are angles. You can go deep on a couple things, but there's more stuff to learn, or you can give them everything, but just go on the surface and there's more stuff to learn. All right. So those are the 2 major angles. Then you have to provide social proof along the way. You have to learn closing techniques. You got to get people to show up. I wrote an entire ebook on getting more people to show up. So you can get people to register easily, but then to get them to actually show up because they're all waiting for the replays.
What's that ebook called?
It's how to get, it's really fancy title, How to Get More People to Show Up for Your Webinar.
Great title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy. So that's the critical part, because you'll get way more sales from webinars when they're actually there. They've set this time apart to actually be there physically. You'll get a higher closure rate. And then, but I really believe in the replays. But when I was coming up through the ranks, I was seeing these lazy people just doing the whole thing as a replay. No interaction with anybody, or fake interaction, which is a bunch of BS. They'd have these fake people showing up. It's crap. So I thought, you know what? If I could make myself available to answer questions while a replay is playing, I think I could close a lot more sales. So this is something I kind of invented because nobody talked about it, and I own the website. It's hybridwebinars.com. So this is where I record a webinar once live to get the interaction. I might say, hey, Adam, how long you been doing business with me? And Adam will say, well, I don't know, 30 seconds. Sorry, but a lot of people will say 20 years or, it's like amazing how long I've been around. See, so I want to get all that stuff on the main recording. And then on the replay, I promote the replay as encore replay, copywriting 901, fast track to making words that sell. Tom will be there live to answer all your questions. So what does that mean? Tom was there live. I was sitting out in the woods against a tree, deer hunting, answering questions on my cell phone. The deer are walking by like, what's that doofus doing there? He could have shot us and ate us today. I mean, he's sitting there on his cell phone. So you can answer the questions anywhere. But the closing rate will be way higher because you've engaged with people, but it's not that much work because you're just answering questions as they come in, and the webinar is playing with all those great comments and interaction that you had on the one time when you did it live. So if you do that, your close, if you do those couple things, get more people to show up, make a deal with them at the start, and then engage with them through this hybrid technique that I invented, you'll close way more sales that way.
Now, you've talked a little bit about how, obviously, to run a webinar and things to do in that, but you have on your seminar, on your webinar website, a lot of our people are going to be actually watching webinars because they're going to be thinking right now about how do I generate more streams of income? How do I, not have to go to the office? And a lot of them, as you note on the website, a lot of them are selling you crap or they're trying to scam you. How does one who's watching the webinar differentiate between people who are actually going to help them and people who are just there to take your money?
Well, one thing you got to get good at is researching the person's name. And a lot of them will stuff the internet with affiliates that praise them to the roof. And it could cover 12 pages worth of saying how wonderful the program is and how wonderful the people are, and it's all BS because they just want to make an affiliate commission. So you got to go deeper than that. So the first thing I do is type in the person's name and the word scam or ripoff, and I dig into the places that expose this kind of stuff or the real things, and I look at those first before I ever buy anything off of anybody. So that's the first thing, is find out who you're dealing with. And even some of the biggest names you've ever heard, convicted felons. I can think of, I'm not going to name them right here, but they're convicted felons. You've had one of the big guys, I get his emails every day, had all his assets frozen for selling fraud. Another guy was selling fake cancer pills to the old people and then dinging their credit card, and people were dying because of him. He finally got arrested and put in jail. So you really need to research the person and don't believe the first 12 pages of what you see, because they've planted all that stuff to hoodwink you. And then they play with the numbers too. I was one of the first people ever to show actual sales figures online. And now people will Photoshop their PayPal, and even more insidious than that, they'll say, oh, we made $200,000 on this promotion in the first 2 weeks. Okay, let's look at that. So they put out $120,000 in affiliate commissions, down to $80,000, and they spent $100,000 on pay-per-click ads. So they actually lost $20,000. Okay, but they're going to make it up by selling it to you because you just got suckered. See, so So you got to dig a little deeper and don't get caught up in the hype. One thing I don't do is hype anything. I'll tell you the real thing, take it or leave it. I got all the proof, enormous track record of people and success and, all this stuff. So you really have to live deeper because even though I think copywriting is the most important skill in my entire business career, a lot of people are great copywriters, but they're totally unethical and they can use those words to manipulate you in bad ways. So I'm totally against that. So you just have to watch.
Yeah, and to our listeners, we're going to have a couple of episodes that deal specifically with copywriting. We have Bob Bly, who you probably know, Tom, very, very well-known, internationally recognized copywriter coming on the show. So looking forward to that. But Tom, shifting now from webinars to online shopping cart systems. So I think this is something Adam and some of our listeners would be more interested in than me. But you wrote a book on online shopping cart systems because it is an important part of e-commerce that web developers, web designers, just regular business people online need to know about. So what are your tips there?
Well, this is one of those places where free is not good. And a lot of hosting services will throw in a shopping cart free if you host with them. Well, I can, and hundreds of times in the past, people say, Tom, well, this cart will do everything your cart will do. And I used to actually look and show them where it wouldn't, but I just got sick of that after a while because none of them, none of the free ones will do anything. Even WooCommerce just got zapped. I mean, it was a big something about a security breach with them. But it's a free thing, and you got to be a geek, and it only works on one website. And so this is not the place where you skimp. This is your money coming in. This is your, and I call it a system because when I first started, all of this stuff was piecemeal. You had to piece this together with that together and something else. And then when it wouldn't work, all the geeks would from different companies would blame each other, and you're there holding the bag. So having a lot of things in one place under one company roof is an advantage to you. But they've come and gone over the years. I've been using the same one for 18 years. All right. So I'm going to just give a bunch of things your cart should do. And one of them is upselling. So this is the old, do you want fries with that? So almost every promotion I do that's not a high ticket item is you make a decision to buy one thing, I offer you something else, and I don't get obnoxious about it like a lot of these, JVZoo and Warrior program, Warrior forum products, but still, you make another 30 to 50% if your shopping cart will promote a upsell for you. You want your broadcast email part of your shopping cart, and here's why. You don't want multiple databases of people, and I'm stuck with this because the carts were not even invented when I started. So I had 150,000 subscribers all over the place. So you couldn't even get their first name in it. It was just the email before the shopping cart was even invented. So you nowadays, though, you'd like to have it in one place so that you don't have to send out 6 different emails and people get 4 copies of it and you can't dedupe the lists across each other. It's just a mess. So you'd want your broadcast email as part of your shopping cart so that your customers that buy from you don't get pummeled with multiple emails. Another thing is if you ask guys like me that have been around forever, the most powerful thing ever invented for internet marketing, virtually all of us would say the autoresponder, especially the sequential autoresponder. It used to be autoresponders would just send something and it'd send you one email back. But now you can send multiple emails. And there's lots of famous places for this like Aweber, but if that's part of your shopping cart system, then you can do upselling with it. You can do customer service with it. You can pre-program it to go out for 6 or 8 months, and you can have it. Somebody does one thing, it switches them to another autoresponder. Very powerful automation kinds of things there. Then affiliate program. When I first started, the shopping cart, not this one, but there's $2,000 for the cart, $1,100 from another company to put an affiliate. We were talking about affiliates in our last episode. Seems like only yesterday. So, and then it wouldn't work. 6 months later, they're arguing with each other, and I had just put out $3,100 in this was around 1994, and nothing's working. 6 months later, it's still not working. See, so you'd like everything where one company is responsible to make it work. You want coupons. People love sales and coupons. One of the big things is that you can have multiple websites. So in my case, I probably have 70, that's 70 different websites through one account of a shopping cart. And I could be selling bras on one hand and Bibles on the other, and nobody would know the difference. See, so, and these ones that you have to install on each site, that would be the biggest nightmare on earth. And nobody lives on one website anymore if you're really doing this seriously. You want digital delivery of products, so ebooks and courses and all that stuff. You want to be able to bundle stuff together. You want to get reports. I mean, I could go on for hours on this stuff, but this is the lifeblood of your business, and it's not the place to scrimp.
So what system are you using, and how much is that costing you?
Well, I use a white label of one shopping cart. Okay. I have mine is called Kickstart Cart, and we add extra value in that we give unlimited free one-on-one tutoring to help you use it forever. So I'm probably the biggest reseller they ever had. And I've been using it myself for 18 years. And some other ones come on the way, but they're 3 times more expensive. And this will do 90% of them. And people can, and the reason is because I don't attract some super high-end students. So a mere mortal can operate this. I had another lady come to me one time. She got sucked into one of these expensive carts, and the cart was awesome. It's just that she was spending $4,000 a month for a part-time person to operate it. And she didn't know what she was doing. See, so this is simple enough that it'll do great stuff for you, but you don't have to pay a lot of money to have people operate it for you.
So this is one of those things that has to be simple enough for one of your high schoolers to come in and run?
Oh, yeah, it's. I don't want it too simple for the high schooler. I want it simple for the 82-year-old lady that's. That we had this lady that was the cheerleader for the senior years. Her website was her in a cheerleader outfit. She's 82. So I want her to be able to run it. That's what I'm talking about. The kids will figure stuff out.
Awesome. Well, Tom, I have one last question. Going back to the whole work from home movement, do you think that, and this is just asking for your opinion, maybe you've seen something more with your own employees, but do you think that working from home is going to make people more innovative, more productive, just better workers overall? Or do you think it's going to have people become lazy?
Well, you have to have the right temperament for it, because if you're the person that's always at the water cooler or standing out front smoking because you want to BS with people, this ain't the place to do it. I mean, you've got to be somewhat of a self-starter. But the beauty of it is that you don't have anybody else stifling your creativity, stifling your ambition. You can work as hard as you want and there's nothing that's going to stop you to being successful, where you got politics and nepotism and all the crap that goes on in the corporations and stuff. And I say, hey, if you miss it, just get yourself a water cooler and stand next to it and talk to yourself. Then you'll think you're at work. So I think you have to have the right temperament, or be willing to adjust your temperament for the atmosphere. Get a dog, too. Get a dog.
Get a dog. Nice. Yeah. Tom, can you tell us the best place for people to go to find out more about you and follow your stuff?
I would say Screw the Commute is perfect, because they can sign up for the podcast on Mondays. I go in depth on something that's either made me a fortune or saved me a fortune. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I interview guys like you that I'm sure are going to agree to come on my show.
Anytime.
Love to do it.
Unless slumming it for you. I don't know. You guys are working for Agora. I mean, come to Screw the Commute. I know that's kind of slumming it. But and then it has a resource page. It has free webinars, and it'll lead you to all the stuff that I have. It's a good place to go.
Okay, so that's screwthecommute.com. That's your
it.
podcast. Got a lot. In fact, that's how we found you. We found you through your podcast. So screwthecommute.com and then Antion, Antion.com. We also
it's probably best to just the great internet marketing training.com because Antion's my speaker site, unless you want somebody to rock your world on stage and make you a lot of money. I only do the ones where you can sell at the back of the room, not obnoxiously, I might add. And that's what I teach people to do too.
Awesome. Well, Tom, just really, really good information on both episodes. Thanks for sticking around. A lot of value for our listeners, a lot of value for me, and I think for Adam as well. We got into the technical stuff. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Well, go back to the persistence. If you really want this to happen, the tools are out there. The profit margins are through the roof, so it makes it easier than it has been in the past. And you can create a lifestyle business for yourself, work from anywhere, and it's not hocus pocus. If you don't believe me, stop by my house here. You'll see me sitting out there with, well, if the dogs don't eat you before you get in the front door.
Knock first.
You'll see. Yeah, knock or call first.
Awesome. Tom Antion, thanks for coming on the Work From Home Show. To all our listeners, check us out, workfromhomeshow.com. Get on our mailing list. You have any questions, comments, you want to reach out to Tom, email us. We'll make sure he gets a message. hello@workfromhomeshow.com. hello@workfromhomeshow.com. Thank you all, homies, for listening to another episode. And until next time, keep on working from home.